The truth. These are all smoke and mirrors.
All right.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Just go turn it on. Come on, hold up.
Let me get my thing.
All right, come on. Okay. Now we can begin.
Ready? You better say something.
I'm ready. Go ahead, stop it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Rita BOOM, and I'm here with whatever it takes with my awesome co-hosts. I got Miss Anonymous. I got Misty. We haven't named you yet. And man, have we got an amazing interview tonight. This little gem who just moved to Utah, but I'm not even going to give away all the secrets just yet. But this is Tyler. Tyler, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, Rita. Maybe introduce your co-host and Misty. Then we talk about the topic, and then we say, "Hey, Tyler, what do you think?"
Listen. Okay. First off, I was trying something a little new there because I'm trying to change it up, keep it raw, keep it real.
We've been
bullshitting for the last 45 minutes, waiting for Tyler
we've
to
been
come
studying
in.
this script for the
play
past second.
Can we just post this part?
And we just added about $5 to the swear interruption jar right
Is
there.
that still thing?
I keep track. I don't know about the rest of you. I get criticized.
How much money do you owe it? You're cutting a check at this point. It ain't cash anymore.
She owes a lot. I owe like 25 cents.
Well, you had all this
at like
credits.
$50.
Credits for a nonprofit organization. I still wonder. I wonder about your conscience with that.
Okay, so
anyway. I think she just got a $5 credit for that.
See, look at this, and see,
I didn't hear a word you said.
You know what? No one ever does. No one ever does.
So anyway, Rita and Misty, we have a guest today, and her name is Tyler. And you know what? I found her in one of the rooms, and she just came in and was really, really scared. Anyway, she's going to tell us her story, like, how did you get here? How's it doing now? You had a little bump along the way, so this should be
but what an interesting bump.
She had a little bump. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
not your average bump.
Tell us how we found you.
Man, I love when people tell me a story, because I think that's what I struggled with the most. Because I was like, I don't have a story.
That's why we didn't say that. We said how we find you.
Like, yeah. But it is. It's your story, right? So, I had one of those nights. I had actually gambled everything I had. If I could have found 4 quarters in my purse, I'd have gambled it away. And my
what age was this that you started? What age were you when you started gambling?
21. Yeah.
Oh, you rebel.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, we're about to fuck some shit up. So, actually, no, when I was 21, I just did it at the slot machine because you get a free drink.
Right?
So, yeah.
Fireball.
But yeah. And
so you lost your whole paycheck that day?
Not mine, my spouse's. And he was in Mexico and couldn't afford to come home. You know, he sat in the airport and he had told me he was done. He'd always say, you have a problem. I'm like, I know, I don't know when to get up and leave. Like, I just don't understand, And he's like, no, like, you have a gambling problem. Like, that's crazy. There's no such thing. Like, well, but when you walk in, they have that number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to lose my family, Yeah. Oh, so I dialed the number and I'm looking at him like, ain't no fucking way. I'm not doing that. There ain't no way. That's wild. Like,
how did the conversation go? Who was it? A guy or a girl who answered the 1-800?
And I'm like, just do it. Okay, just do it. So I called it or whatever, and a woman answered, and I wasn't really impressed. I thought when they answered, it was going to be like someone to talk to you about it, Yeah. But they were like, where are you located? And I told them, and they were like, do you want to go inpatient? I'm like, what? No, I was about to hang up. I'm like, they finna lock me up. Like,
Please ask me my favorite color first.
yeah, like, dang. I'd like to go on a date first. Like,
Gonna
that's
call for
crazy.
Maybe send me some brochures first so I know what I'm signing up
Yes.
for.
Buy me a drink. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, we
You give me a
garden
drink like
there.
the Casey Union does at that slot machine. Like, this is
Yeah. Can we play cards here or no? Like,
So really, when you told me about that, it shocked me that when the person calls, it's the like, and I guess it makes fine sense. I don't know, but it just sends you to the next GA meeting.
well,
But
no, but it didn't though.
right?
they skipped
Well,
right to
it just
inpatient.
sent
Like, that's
me.
some serious shit. Like, that's
Yeah, so
hilarious.
they really are just like, here's all the places in your area. Well, actually, I was the one that was like, wait, no, like I want someone to talk to
Yeah.
about this. Like now, like my whole life, like I don't know. I knew nothing could fix it, but I think just talking to someone who knew what it was, because I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she tells me to go on Road to Recovery or,
Yeah.
RO.
There's
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I they needed clearer instructions because I ended up in some crazy meetings at first, and then they were like, "No, you're in the wrong place," and I was like, "Okay, I told y'all I didn't have a problem."
room for everything.
Wait, was
Yeah,
this in the room or was this like you just
no,
went to the
or
wrong
oh,
places? Oh,
like no, like I was just clicking, just whatever. I didn't know anything about any of it.
Wound up with
And
your Rita.
you
yes,
ended up at the Bag of Boom?
No, she wound up
no, in
in
the LB.
Oh.
They were like, and I was like, listen, we may not be into all the same things, but we're into something. So I don't know. That's cool. Like, I don't even think that matters, like right now at all. But
That's
okay.
like the one meeting I don't go to.
Yeah, well, I'm over here like, did we really have to separate the groups like this?
I
That
mean,
is wild.
exactly are we gambling on,
Yes. I'm like, wow, way to really make this into like little groups. But so anyway, they told me where to go. So I went on there and oh, I'd never done a Zoom meeting. They're like, raise your hand. I'm like, can y'all see me raise my hand? Like, I don't know how to do that. Like, what?
Yeah.
And I was distraught. Like I was
Yes.
crying. Like
Yes.
and I remember seeing the co-host, Miss Anonymous. And I thought, oh my God, like she's just like me. Like you're looking, and you're seeing her and you're like, this woman has her life together. Like that's crazy. Like, fuck, okay, maybe I do have a problem and it's not just knowing when to get up and leave.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that because I try to stay relatable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then I think it's also that you not saying anything,
Yeah.
but that you were a woman,
Right.
so like
Well,
it
I
was
remember
also,
I can still hear you crying in my head. And it's one of
yeah.
those come in and everybody's like, oh my God, what do we do now? Because, like I have a sponsor that always we tell a newcomer, hey, got good news and bad news. The good news is you found the help. Bad news is it's us. So
We're just the blind leading the blind.
exactly. But I'd be damned if it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So another lady ended up reaching out on the chat, and I was so confused. Everybody was kind of messaging me, on the chat, and well, I had asked the other lady. I said, I want to talk to the woman with the dark hair, and so she had gave me her number, and that's when she had reached out, and the meeting got a little weird fast.
So,
Like
Yeah, but
there was the guy, whatever. I don't think you're supposed to talk about what anybody says, but
yeah.
he had just said some wild stuff, and I just hung up because I was like, I don't even want to know. That's why, like, listen, some things you should leave between you and Jesus. I don't know. So, and I think you sound like an upright guy, so I just want to keep that outlook on you. Whatever you did, that's on you.
well, he
So,
totally did. Yeah.
yeah, but let me tell you something. No, I also thought I was like, well, I've never done that to gamble, so I probably don't have a problem. That is wild. Like,
The answer to that is no.
yeah, so I got one of those questions right. Just,
Right.
but so um, then, so she had talked to me, and she is still my, she's my sponsor. Actually, just like, hey, can you just be my temporary sponsor, whatever. And I mean, she's stuck with me now. I mean, I
Were
don't
you
know.
going to reach out to her? Was that
Oh,
like,
yeah. The minute I heard her come in, because I knew she wasn't going to get any help where we were. So, and I was always in there breaking rules and stuff. So, yeah. And I told the other friend, I was like, send her our number and we'll take her over to the room, because she was so distraught. And I have not only just heard that, I've cried that way. It's a real sad cry, where you just lost everything, or you think you have, and nobody's going to help you. So no, when I found her, and it was a God thing, I truly believe my mother has brought me to every one of you in so different circumstances, but I know Mama brought me to Tyler because I was there, she was there. It's not my regular hangout, and brought you over. And I wasn't letting go, because you remind me of my daughter, at that age and everything. So no, you were kind of stuck from the get go.
and not to like rip on another fellowship. There's some fellowships there's a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians. And
Exactly. But
there's a lot of opinions in some rooms, and like you try to do the right thing and you're just going to get attacked. So it's great that you wanted to meet Miss
I didn't
Anonymous
want to take any chances with her.
right. So I mean, nothing against the room that you were in,
Nothing.
but yeah, because
Oh,
they mean
no.
well. I'm sure they mean well, but it's
And I'll be honest.
God
So my
intervened here.
biggest thing is, when you go into the meetings, it's I would always suggest that you would actually find a smaller meeting, because
First,
it's
right.
actually getting to share and talking and having those times where it's not so guideline strict, like you in a fucking like you
only
be
way
kicked out, like if you say something wrong.
Yeah. The only way that we could do that was to start our own.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And thank God that we did start our own, found each other, and have the support system that we do. I was talking to these girls last week. I was in Florida. You were in Utah. Misty was working so much. Rita, we're all so separated because we were in different spots. And I was kind of like, man, I got to have, because I couldn't come into the meetings, and when I couldn't really, talk to y'all. So
I think those meetings are tough for the newcomer because, you come in and you are broken, you are hurting, and you bare your soul, and you're crying, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for your share. Keep coming back." And move on to the next person, because most of them are the no comment meetings, and it just
but then you sit there and you think, did I say something wrong?
yes, am I in the wrong place?
Am I what's going on?
And if you're the host and you don't do it like that, half of the room's going to crucify you.
Yeah, but Rita, you always come on and say, let's stay after the meeting and we'll talk to you. We can't say much here, but at least you say that instead of scooting to the next Rudy Tooty.
Right.
Yeah. Acknowledgement is huge.
I try to make everyone happy,
Everybody just wants to be heard, whether you're in recovery or you're not.
Right.
And if you're down that low,
Yeah. So at that point, I can say it was the lowest point. But we find out further down the road that wasn't the lowest point I was going to get.
Now, was it difficult starting a recovery? Because, like you said, your husband at the time didn't think it was a disease.
At the time. Jeez. Yeah. Well, actually, so he actually brought it to my attention that it was a problem. And I can honestly say,
not being able to bring him back from Mexico, I think that.
Yeah. So, and I was like,
still in Mexico.
Yeah.
Where's my red
he's
flag?
not. No, he's not. But that was rough. It was rough. But I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh, you don't understand. You can't leave me now. Like I'm getting help. Like I finally realized I have a fucking problem. And he was like, I don't know. And he had every right. I will. No matter where life takes me, him, anything, like I'll always have respect because he didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
He didn't have to go through it. I wouldn't have. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't have.
I know.
And so, so I'm talking to my now sponsor, and so Next morning, I'll tell you what, I said this. I probably would have never went back to a meeting, right? Because I was fixed. I went to one. We're good.
So good.
I worked all the steps that one night. We're good. Like, and
Lived
I
them all.
woke up. I woke up to a text from her, and she said, "How are you doing today?" And it hit me because I was like, "God, wait, she does care." Like this isn't like this is real. I make a lot of jokes. Anyone who knows me, all of you, know that. Like, I'm gonna joke. I mean, because I just can't take anything serious anymore. But, you know, one text got me what I'm at 140 days now.
Oh
I
my
think over that.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
Well,
But
you did
Days went out of
really
bed, but
good.
you have tons of recovery, right?
I think you did. When did you have your relapse? How many days was that? Was it 60 or
it was
90?
it was September 4th I relapsed.
Okay, so it was 90.
No, I was almost to 60 days.
Okay, yeah, like a day before.
Yeah. And
what happened then?
oh, I'm almost to 60 days. And I ain't never been in recovery, but I know 60 days, that's like a highlight moment. So I was like, and I guess I'm a dumbass, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna celebrate with a scratch off. I don't know. That's wild. But so um actually, guys, I'm gonna tell a part of the story that I've never told before. Just for this, okay?
I love it.
When I went, I've never just bought one. I've always bought 3 of the $3 little scratch offs. I love bingo. You put that in a scratch off form, it's done. It's over with. Like, so, I bought 3. I'm still never scratched the other 2. They're locked up. And until I don't, and that for me, every day I don't scratch it is every day I'm not powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they're losers, right? They're losers.
I don't know. I don't talk about it.
They're losers.
They're locked up, and they're locked up, and my spouse has the key. So I went and I bought a scratch off or whatever, So I actually had bought some drinks, and so I had like a little buzz, I guess, to cope with the factor. I'm like, you almost got to 60, but fucking watch this shit. And I won $30,000.
I know. That's like,
I say, listen, but you guys, I fucking stopped and I was like, bitch, you got to stop drinking when you scratch these. Ain't no way. There's no way. So I'm like adding the numbers up and I'm like, nah, you did something wrong. And I scanned it. And when I scanned it, it said it. And I said, oh my God. Oh my God, I just lost my date.
what are the odds of that?
And I told God, the first
Bad luck.
sentence I said was, God, if I gamble again, take it all from me. So I texted my sponsor and I said, we need to talk and she said, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? And I said, no, but I did. And you're going to be very upset with me. I'm holding a ticket that's worth 30,000. Here's the kicker. I never paid for the tickets. 2, let's start there. So anyway, so I got the store calling me saying that my card didn't go through. I'm like, don't worry, my card's fitting to fucking go through.
Go forward.
Yeah.
Only Tyler.
Yeah.
It's your system, not mine.
I'm like, I'll give you these other 2 back. I didn't even touch them. I'll pay for this one though. We're good. So, but anyway, so, she, we were just talking and I said, I was like, I gave my date away. I said, I bought a $3 scratch off, but I won 30. I put 30K. I'm still in shock. And she says,
I didn't
was
see
it worth $30? I said, maybe not 30, but I won 30,000. She goes, oh my God. It's like, yes, I think he's in this somewhere. But I don't know. I go back, to the store or whatever, and man, it went downhill from there. Right.
Told you it would too.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Anonymous, how do you, as a sponsor, respond to a sponsee coming at you with, okay,
Just telling her husband to go buy some scratch offs.
That's the first thing I did.
get to it, Tommy.
First thing I did was hop out of this chair, head towards the back, and told Tommy to go get one. Then I was like, "Oh my God. Thank you. Brownie and ice cream. Thanks."
So I was so embarrassed. So I remember telling my sister, I said, oh my God, like, and I'm crying. I'm like, my date, right? Like, what the fuck? And she was like, I'll never forget this. She goes, Tyler, your growth is amazing. You won $30,000 off of $3. You can get another date. And I was like, no, that's not how it works. And she's like, I want to be supportive, and I am. You should get another date, but just accept that this is a blessing.
Your growth has led you to $30,000 when you relapse. Like,
He's over here like, what date? You need to mark this date. Like, that's crazy. Like,
She never
So-
could have accepted as a blessing because,
no.
for one thing, when she called me and I figured it out, it was at 30,000. I was like, "This is the worst thing that could have happened to you."
yeah. I mean, what do we always say? It's
So
a
good.
problem when you win, not when you lose.
Yeah, she was doing so good, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But and then the sponsor. Well, for one thing, I called my sponsor first too.
It's like a chain reaction.
'Cause
Yeah.
what do I do?
Turn list.
But I had to let her feel it a little bit, and so
and feel it, I
a
did.
couple of days, and then I was like, "Okay, now we got to get her up."
Well,
I
says
remember
something. It
that.
says a lot that
She
instead of
never-
focusing on winning,
I
on
remember
30K,
that.
Yeah, but she never got over it. She
Date.
never.
No,
No.
Yeah.
no,
That says a lot.
I remember
I
the
often
phone call.
think- yeah,
And-
like I often think, like, if I wasn't in the meetings,
Mhm.
I mean, think about when we were normal, right? We had a normal way of, and we would have won that. That would have been just so a blessing and exciting. And I was scared to tell anyone or for anyone to find out, you know?
Yeah.
And so let's actually laugh about this because I always said if I won big, I'm like, fuck, if I won big, I'd have to borrow money to go get it. And I did because guess what? My license was expired, so I couldn't claim it. It's a shit show from the beginning. Okay. It wasn't even my $3 that got this ticket. So let's start there. So I ended up going get an ID because I was like, I want my money. That's great. Like, and it was down the hill. It was downhill from there.
How so?
So
She felt guilty.
and my spouse did not look at it like that's one thing I'm happy about. He never was happy. He was so upset because
You gambled.
you gambled. I don't care how you look at it. You gambled. You still have no control.
Well,
And I was so upset. I'm like, it's a scratch off, really? Like, you know? And my sponsor is here. Like, I always say, I'm like, I've never put us in debt over a scratch off. Like, that's fucking wild. Like, a slot machine, all of us will be broke. I'm making everybody broke over a slot machine.
she did not think that scratch offs were gambling, and I had to say,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it totally is gambling.
Yeah.
No, but everybody came out of the woodwork,
Oh my God. I owed everybody.
and it
Do
was
you understand me?
weird. Yeah.
Plus interest, like everything. So, but you have to think, we're in debt. Like I had just not even 60 days before gambled a whole paycheck away, So anyway, I get the money. It's crazy. The crazy part is I had $21,750 cash handed to me.
Wow.
In a bank bag. I never once thought about going to a casino. Never. I went and I paid a bunch of stuff off, paid my insurance up for for the rest of the year and all that, and I'm talking about I was in 2 months into it, I was in a worse financial bind than I was before the money.
Mhm.
Imagine that.
It was like everything got,
Mhm.
it's kind of like you spent all your luck, scratched it off, and then it just kind of sucked until
The curse of the curse of the jackpot. There's no about it.
yeah.
Yeah. I lost any kind of assistance I ever had. Lost it because you have to record gambling winnings.
Oh,
And which, it's cool, whatever. And I remember telling my sponsor, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I was so sad, I was like, I don't get it. Like, I did right by the money, and why, like, I feel like God.
That was another thing, sorry, that we talked about. What was she going to do with the money? And I was like, okay, you won the money. We're going to deal with that, but we have to figure out what you're going to do with the money. Because you had to steward the money good. Because
that was the testament.
That was
where the money was going to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the backstory really, really fast. I had cried and I prayed, for 3 days to God. I said, I don't want to cry, but, I told him, I didn't want to see anyone pay for my mistakes. I didn't want to see my family suffer anymore, And then I win the 30,000. And I thought, oh, this is it, And I felt like it's so funny, because I feel like they suffered worse, after. And it's just crazy because that's how that's not, when people win a jackpot, they're like, thank God. That's not God. It's purely luck.
Is it? But look at the life lesson that you learned.
Yeah.
Look at where you're at now.
I think I can't say God plays a part in it, but I don't think he's over there like, please, here.
But I think that at the end of the day, he was trying to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
For some reason, somehow, maybe this is why, and this is where you're at today. But I think just like Rita's situation too, with her relapse and what she's done since then, your relapse and what you've done since then. I mean, you went through some hell.
Oh man, yes. So that was the lowest point.
You made it. You made it.
We're tough bitches. We land where we're supposed to land.
Man, yeah.
Tyler, how long after you relapsed did it take for you to come back into a meeting? Come back into the program?
So I didn't go back the same day because of the amount, and it was just shock. And I had won it like right before the meeting. Ironic, huh? What was I gonna do? Scratch that shit while we were in the meeting? I don't know, but whatever.
You're like sleeping with two separate people in the same day.
If I'd have scratched that while we were in the meeting, everybody would have heard me. Do you understand? I lost my date just now, and y'all were all here to witness because we're all gonna meet up, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, the next day I went back and okay. Well, I went into a meeting with you and my sponsor, and I was just crying. I was like, what? I was all over with it, and I'd go in the meetings, but I wouldn't talk. No. Because I felt like every topic after that was about relapsing or something. And I was like, all right, I get it. These are feeling really personal.
Every meeting's about you. Every scripture's about you. Every freaking song's about you.
Can I pay y'all to change the topic?
I remember when you...
Every bag of broom was about relapse.
Yeah. I'm like, can you pull another topic? We're good. I can't believe I stayed up for this shit.
So I remember that when you lost your first day into recovery, that was really hard for you, that you really had a hard time with that. So when did you come to grips? At the beginning you said 140 days without a bet, which tells me, that you're proud of that number now, that you're proud of September 4th.
Yeah, I had hosted a meeting and I was telling them that I could never remember the date because I didn't care about the last bet. It's the date of my recovery was 7/25. And so I'm like, why does it matter the last time I made a mistake? I have never, at that point, I'd only missed that one meeting, so the date of my recovery is 7/25. But I think the date of my true growth was 9/3 or 9/4. Yeah. So I had said it was the end of the year, like in little meetings, and I was like, I think I want to start acknowledging my date. I want to acknowledge that it's not, that doesn't define who I am. Like that's not my story, like it's part of it, but that date doesn't mean I'm behind. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I looked at it. I'm like, we're on a grading scale and what the fuck? I'm not saying that date. Like that's crazy. But, I wanted to accept it because it's not my story, but it's part of it. And it's part of how I got here. As gamblers, one of the meetings, the host said, us gamblers always have to put a number on something. They do, and I was like, damn, we really do, huh?
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was 9/4.
Yes.
Nope. Yeah, it was.
9/4.
So then what's happened since then? Like, so then you said,
okay. So let's fast forward. A lot of things, but I don't even know where to start. So I actually wanted to become more, to grow spiritually.
Okay.
And I wanted to take the steps more serious. I wanted more work on them. I don't, obviously, if I would have really accepted that I was powerless, I'd have never bought a scratch off. So the idea behind me putting those 2 other scratch offs in a lockbox and I never touched them is because every day I don't, I'm not powerless.
Yeah.
I'm not giving that power to anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not greedy. You know what I'm saying? Like I know people may look at that and be like, that's fucking weird. But
your recovery, everybody's recovery is differently. You can walk into a store and buy 1,000 scratch offs, but those 2 that you have locked up are what are significant, and that's what you use for your recovery. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It makes you stronger. I love it.
It makes you more focused. It makes you better at your recovery.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're, quitting smoking or something and you have a couple of cigarettes hidden around the house. They're there, but you're not going to smoke them.
Yeah, I would.
Me too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I take a
And if I ever go to your house and you have cigarettes somewhere, tell me. That's crazy. So, things just got really rocky, So I need to grow spiritually. I had the tools, whatever. And my sponsor kept saying this annoying thing called journaling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am not in middle school. I'm not going to write in a diary. Like, that's wild to me. Like, no. And so I kept asking her, I'm like, what do you want me to write about? Like my day? Like, I'm just so confused, like it was shit. I don't know what to write right now. So I decided, man, I don't know if someone had gifted it to me or if I had bought the first one. The daily devotionals. Yeah, I think my sponsor ended up buying me the first one. And so I ended up, because everybody knows, I love daily devotionals. The books, So I have about 4 of them. And I read the day every morning. This is how I start my morning. I argue with an 8-year-old. And then I get him to school. And then I come home and I read. Out of all of them, I'll open them all up and I'll read the day, and that's what I journal about every morning. I I just journal about if it, is something that's going on in my life. How do I apply it in my life? Or, how does it resonate with me? Or how would I want to be more, relatable with the message? And it just puts me in a better mind frame. I feel like I've grown so much. Like I used to just, it wasn't long ago I threw a cold coffee through the McDonald's window.
We're not going to look
Just,
backwards.
yeah, just hot headed,
Think
But
about the
now
coffee you're fixing to throw.
I know.
It was cold.
Yes. Like,
That's
so
progress.
I think now I'm so thankful because actually I think about that situation and I'm like, I wouldn't even had pushed it even close to being that far now,
Right.
Lately I've just had so much. I mean, you guys know I've had so much on my plate, so much things said about me, and
Honest,
I have kept
you've
so quiet.
You've handled it good.
Yep. I've kept so quiet, and because I know my truth. And I never could accept that. I finally accept what people say about me behind my back is not my business. I
If that's
never
your bad
could.
about you, at least they're talking about you.
Listen, that could never, I'm like, that is my business. Actually, that's wild.
Well,
But now I'm like, no, it truly isn't.
really not. And thank God that you understand that because your life will be 100% better if
Yeah.
you're not worrying about what other people are saying about you.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that like you took this. I can relate because after I stopped beating myself up over my relapse, I started saying, "How am I going to use this relapse to better my recovery?" And they suck, but instead of beating myself up constantly, I had to stop beating myself up, or else I was never going to let any of that go. I was never going to move forward, and I'd still be the same person I was 7 months ago when I came crawling back into the room. But instead, I was able to, stop resenting myself and forgive myself. And I think that paying it forward into a better outcome 7 months later. And you're doing the same exact thing. You're using this relapse instead of dwelling on it, beating yourself up, dwelling on the negative stuff that happened right afterwards. Now you're like fuck it. I got to turn this shit around now. And again, you went and you found worship. You started your Dear Diary, and
Don't get confused with Dear John. So
but you know what I'm saying. You did it.
Well, that's what she learned was to take that relapse and use it.
Mm-hmm.
She did learn it, and plus she's had a lot of support in the group, and
yes.
and took advice that we would give her, and it really kind of had a good head on her shoulders. So that is in the past. Now what? And you also started hosting, and that was your thing. I didn't even bring it. You said,
No, I was excited. I felt like something just kept telling me, like it was just something I needed to do. I needed to start getting more involved in it,
very proud of you.
and
You're
yeah.
giving. So what is in your
Lately, it's been hard. Well, my biggest accomplishment, sorry, so far was I wanted to hurry up and just share this part of it because I recently went to Vegas. Now everybody's shocked. I know. Everybody was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, gosh, guys, like I got my kid with me. That's crazy. And there was so many things to do. And it actually brought me to a point where, wow, there's so many things I've missed out on because of a slot machine. And to know that I went there and I was not powerless. I went to an M&M factory. I went to the, just a bunch of different like tourist things or whatever. And I did go see Magic Mike. But so, couldn't have done that. See, if I was gambling, I would have never seen these men. I'm just saying.
You're a better person than I am. I know I couldn't go to Vegas.
So I'll tell you this, and I say it every time I say this. Had my son not been with me, I don't know if I would be telling you my date was different. I don't know. Yeah. But I will say I can take this as a win and appreciate the memories I got from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But as far as the future, well, I'm not gonna place my future in a probability or a chance,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm not gonna let anyone else have the control
Mhm.
of how it's gonna play out.
Mhm.
Not a thing, a place, or a person. So, and I recently got a job and good benefits, and I'm still in training for it. And I'm now learning how to start just kind of dividing my life up, like the places it needs to be. I still talk to you guys, obviously, my sponsor and everything. So I'm just living without the bet.
Good.
Yeah.
You probably will run into a little bit of trouble about this time is balancing and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you stay connected to us like you do, then you're going to be okay. And you still got your hosting that you can do. Just make a little bit of time for it. Actually, anything they say, anything that you put before recovery, you'll lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in your head.
Yeah, so true.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
I've
would
seen it, but I've got a lot of faith in you.
I
Yeah.
think the last 6 months, Tyler, I've known you for 6 months. This is the happiest I've ever seen you.
For sure.
It really is. It's the
Because
happiest
we
I've ever
met and
seen.
I was drunk texting you. It was a good time.
You know what? It's
just
probably
saying.
when I was drunk texting you.
I was drunk texting you. Just saying. Or the one time where I called Rita and was like, hi. Well, no, when I texted her because I was having like these urges and I'm like, what are you doing? And she texts me like 2 hours later and she's like, I'm drunk. I'm like, me too. Who's going to drive us to the fucking casino?
I drink like once a year, maybe twice a year. And she calls me on the one night and I'm like,
She
I'm
literally
bombed.
goes into a discussion about it. Like, she's like, I'm drunk. This never happens. I'm like, me too. Like, we need a slot machine, bitch. I don't
I'm
know.
drunk
You
as
just call
fuck.
me. Yeah. I was like, I need you to call me. Like,
Well, we're
it was
all
the
really
day before
proud of you,
Thanksgiving.
and each one of us is going to give you the best advice that we have. So I think I'm going to start with me. The best advice
They
I,
say Shivery's dead.
I know, right? The best advice that I can give you is I know we say one day at a time, but I also say lifestyle, But I think the most I would say to you is connection. Stay connected for sure, you know, and,
Yeah.
and reach out, you have a good support system here for anything that you do. Okay. Rita?
No, Misty, you can go.
Oh, no, Rita, please be my guest.
Here we go. Here we go.
You want me to go? I mean, I get so sorry.
I was going to say connection. Connection is so incredibly, incredibly important. But I think it goes beyond the bet at this point because, we're all really good friends and we want to celebrate the good, the bad, the ugly in each other's lives. And I think, Tyler, it's new horizons for you, girl. Right now, you've got the world by the balls. And my best advice for you in recovery is stay connected. My best advice for you on a personal level is do what makes you happy. You
Yes.
and little man, you know what? You've got so much good ahead of you and you deserve every single bit of it.
It took me a while to get to the point where I can honestly say that I deserve everything I'm doing because I'm actually working for it.
That's right. You sure do. You deserve it.
That's awesome.
Rita Boom.
Okay.
Look around.
So everybody here keeps saying stay connected. Like we're like this is the last time we're gonna hear from Tyler.
Like, geez, guys, I'm gonna go
maybe
back
we hear
into the
from her
meeting.
again. Like check in every month.
No, let's record it. You know what, Rita? You're doing it again. You're making it weird
You
again.
remember when I said when I
all
relapsed,
made it
all the
weird.
meeting topics was about relapse?
Yeah.
I haven't been in a meeting, like a lot. And so now they're like, stay connected. The meetings we have every night. Like
I
that's
see some things too.
You know what? You're manifesting that shit, Tyler. You're
Yeah.
picking apart what you want to hear.
hey, this is about me.
May I speak? I mean,
Yes, please.
anyway. Okay, so I think that Louisiana Tyler, I was concerned about. I thought, yeah, I was worried about where you were going to go from there. Like, I mean, you're an awesome individual. You're an awesome human being. And when I heard that you were moving, I was giddy inside because I think that you now are in a place where you have the ability to thrive. And one thing though that you keep mentioning about is, before the ticket, after the ticket, the rooms, sponsor, how you felt like, everything is recovery. So yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, even if it's 20 minutes a day, say you're like, I'm not, I don't feel like a meeting today, but at least do 20 minutes a day of recovery. Just to every day, keep it in your life because you're where you are right now. Because when you hear the story back, it's all about recovery. It's all about recovery. And I respect you so much because you take it so seriously, and you joke a lot, but nowhere in that story did you joke about your recovery and how you felt after winning. And, it just, baby girl, I hope you blow it out of the water. I knew you're going to blow it out of the water. And just don't forget how you got there.
Basically, stay connected.
That's basically what she just said too.
I know.
Yeah, Boom.
20 minutes a day.
Tyler, what would you say is the best thing you've gotten from recovery?
Oh man, y'all.
Me too.
Like
Yeah.
my people.
Me too.
Rita's questionable. Just kidding.
Well, thanks for coming on tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
We love
thanks
you,
for having
Tyler.
me. I love you. I said we love you. That's me and my other person that talk a lot. So. Ooh, all right. Well, y'all have a good night.
Remember,
Thank you, Tyler.
what are you going to do if something comes up? Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you guys.
That's right. What's up, guys? It's Rita BOOM here, just telling you, if you enjoyed this podcast, get on there and leave some comments, all right? Whether you liked it, you didn't like it, if it's good enough of a comment, we're going to read it online. Know why? Because it helps our algorithm. That way we don't have to charge anybody anything crazy like that. So, again, leave the comments, we'll read them online, and boom, boom, boom! Don't place a bet today, okay? All right.